Done. Today in the wood yard, we've got a wood delivery coming up right now. Here we go. Good morning, fellow Firewood fanatics. My name is Chris. In case you're here for the first time, if you've been here before, thanks for coming back. We're gonna have some fun today. Today, I'm going to take the remaining amount of wood from this pile back here that I stacked. That was the dry stuff that I split. We're gonna load that up into the truck and we're gonna go do a delivery. It is for 1/4 cord or 1/3 of a cord. Now there's not quite the right amount here, and it's not quite 1/3 of a cord, I don't think, underneath the tarp. I had the tarp down. I'm glad I did because we got about a 1/2 inch of rain last night. And I'm going to load up what's here, see how much more I need, and then I've got another pile in back that I'm gonna add the rest of it to. So this stuff never got stacked, and that's why I have to load it up and I have to put it in and stack it in the truck so they know how much I have, so I deliver the right amount. So that's what's gonna happen. So I'm gonna start loading right now. So these tarps that I get, some people ask, some people know, because I've already mentioned where I get them. There is a guy that is south of me here, about 20 miles or so, and he's basically a reseller of stuff. He buys a lot of like junk, a lot of farm stuff, a lot of like old buildings, and he sells boards, and he sells like old equipment, like old farm equipment, stuff for decorating. He sells a lot of barn boards and beams and things like that. Well, he also has a deal with a place that is a billboard display company where they put up the billboards along the highway, and when they're done with them, he buys them from them and then he resells them. And the reason I get these tarps, this is what they look like. This is the kind of a medium duty one. This is, as you can see, is an old billboard. They are extremely durable. I mean, this one's probably, I don't know, maybe 2-3 years old now. Starting to get a couple holes. You see there's a couple spots, but it's better than any plastic I've ever used, and it's better than any tarp that I've ever bought at a store as far as the heavy dutiness. There's 3 different levels. There's your basic one, which is like a regular tarp, and then there's a medium one, which is this, and then there's a super heavy duty one, and they do cost more as you go to the higher quality ones. But this one here is like half of a billboard, it looks like, or a smaller billboard. So, because I can see it's got seams. So this is probably 8 feet by 5 feet, something like that, maybe 8 by 6, something like that. And just a nice size for covering a full cord of wood, like you see back here. A full cord like this. Now this is a different covering. This is plastic on here, but I do cover a lot of my piles with these tarps because they hold up so much better than anything else. And they are not free, but they are cheaper than what you would pay like in a store for a regular tarp. I think when that size right there, I usually pay $5 or $10 for, something like that. Maybe 15 tops. And then the real big ones, I've gotten some as big as, I think the biggest one I ever bought was like 40 feet. I think that's like 40 feet by 20 or something like that. And I use those for covering big, huge piles when I've got a very large pile of wood like this you see right here that is not going to be stacked for a while, and I want to cover it because it's either dry or it's stuff that I don't want to get wet because I'm going to be handling it the next day and it's going to rain, so I'll throw a tarp over it. But a lot of the wood I generally will leave out uncovered and unstacked, like you might see the pile back over there, because I got it split, and by the time I get to stacking it, it's going to be there a while. So sometimes I'll throw a tarp over it. But that one will sit like that until I get it stacked. And then it'll sit, the wood will be stacked just like you see these piles right here all summer long. I don't cover them during the summer, even to the early fall. I leave them uncovered like this. And the reason I do it is I want as much sun as possible on them, as much wind on them as possible. But the one thing that I don't want on them is snow. So in the fall of the year, usually like September-ish, somewhere in there, I will cover almost all my wood piles that I have with whatever I have. Sometimes it's tarp, sometimes I have plastic, sometimes I have swimming pool covers, make very good covers. And I cover it because I want to keep the snow off. And the reason I want to keep the snow off is your snow that you get on there doesn't just sit on there nice and fluffy and dry. Every day the sun is on it, it melts, and then the water from it, when it melts, leaks down into the the actual wood and creates what I like to call a wood sickle. And then you got to break it apart and pound on it, and then you got all that frozen water, ice on the wood, and it's hard to get apart. So I try to have it somewhat of a peak on it when I cover it, but by doing that, I keep the snow off, so when I go to sell the wood, all I have to do is pull that tarp off that particular pile, pull it off, and then load up the wood. So that's what I do with the tarps. So I'm gonna get the loading a little faster here. I'm gonna speed things up. Okay, so that is all that was in this pile. So all I gotta do is rake this area up right here and clean up all the debris, and then this will be nice and clean. So this whole pile that was here was all stuff that was just split from this truckload that I got, which was wood that was from dead standing oak trees. So a lot of the smaller stuff, which is what's in the truck right now, was completely dry when it was split. I did a moisture test on it, and it all tested out at between 16 and 18%, so it's ready to burn. So I never had to stack it, didn't put it right into the pile there because I knew I could sell it right away. So as I split it, I just threw it into a big pile here, and I had almost 2 full cords of wood that was dry and that I have already sold from this pile here, so I never had to stack it other than putting it in the truck. So that's almost 6 face cords, or 6/3 of a cord, which is how we sell it. And so yeah, that's what's going to happen. So now I'm going to back up to another spot where I got more wood. I'm going to finish it off because I actually need 3 and about 1/4 rows in the truck, side to side, filled right to the top, and that makes a 1/3 of a cord or a face of a cord. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to drive over to another spot. So hang on tight, because you're going for a truck ride.
Denmark State Bank.
So now this pile here is mostly hickory over here, but there's a bunch of oak right in here. And if I get a few pieces of hickory in here, that'll be okay too, because hickory and oak are kind of the same wood as far as how they burn and what the guy wanted. He said he wanted good hardwood for burning inside. He wanted oak preferably, so I'm going to try to pick out the oak that's in here, because there's chunks of oak in here. You can see, like, right here's a chunk of oak, and right here's a chunk of oak. So this is the stuff I'm going to load in here to finish off the load right now. So I'm just going to move you guys so you don't get hurt. So there it is, a beautiful load of red oak, and there's only a couple pieces of hickory in there, but it's ready to go to its new home where it will be very happy. So we're gonna go down the road and we're gonna go deliver it to a town that's about, I think the guy is about 18 miles from here, just south of me, and so that's where we're going, on the road again. So we're pulling out of the wood yard and we're on our way to do the delivery. And like I said, it's like 18 miles away. I go this direction a lot to deliver wood. And for those of you that are wondering why I don't use my dump trailer, because when I do a single face cord or a third of a cord, I just throw it into the truck, because it's a lot easier to get around for backing in, and I can throw it off, as some of you know that have seen my videos, I can throw it off in about 4 minutes. I think my record is like 3 minutes and 43 seconds or something, I don't know. It doesn't take long. And it's easier to get into small spots, especially a lot of times people, when they're getting a third of a cord like this, they want it right into their garage, and with the trailer it's a little tough sometimes to get in, and then, you know, obviously I can't dump it when it's in the garage most of the time either. So we're on the way, and I got some good, very, very good news I got to tell everybody about. about 2 days ago, I got a call from one of you. Yes, one of the viewers. And he's interested in doing some videos together. It's a guy, his name is Tony. He's my new best friend, by the way. Hi, Tony, how you doing? Nice talking with you yesterday. I stopped there on the way to see my dad yesterday, and I was planning on staying for 20 minutes. I think I was there for an hour and a half. It was awesome. He's got all the toys. I mean, all the toys. So I'm going to be going there, and I'm going to be doing some actual videos on his woodyard. He's a retired guy. He just retired recently, and he's got 10 acres. He lives in an area where there's a lot of oak wilt, and he loves to cut and make firewood. So he just showed me a lot of his toys yesterday. He's got a Easton-made 1222, which is quite the machine, and we're going to do some splitting with that. He's got a brand new Coyote tractor, 4020, and we're going to play with that. And he's got, I don't know, he must have had 8, 9, 10 chainsaws. He's got steels, and he's got a brand new 500i. We're going to play with that. He's got all kinds of tools that can be used in cutting firewood. He's got carts, trimmers. He's got extendable trimmers. He's got all kinds of tongs and cant hooks, lots of different kinds of stuff. And he used to be a salesperson for a company that sold a lot of cutting tools for in the woods. So we're going to play with a lot of that stuff too. So it's going to be awesome. So you'll see that probably in a week or so. So now we're going to go down the road, go deliver this load. Here we go. Here we are at the location. This is the house behind me, and I have instructions that I'm just supposed to throw the wood right between this birch tree and pine tree, even though it's a spruce. But he said the north side of the driveway, and that's where this is. This is one of the deliveries that I do quite often, and I do a lot of these where people just leave money for me. A lot of times they leave it under a rock or in a grill, or underneath a bucket or something like that, somewhere in the area where I'm supposed to put the wood. So I already collected my money. I left a business card. I always do that, and I'm just going to throw the wood right over here. So we're going to unload the wood right now. So here we go. You can time me. We'll see if I can set a new record here today. I think my old record's 3 minutes and 42 or 43 seconds, something like that. So start the watches. There's 1.5 rows gone, 2 to go. Starting to breathe heavy. Come on. Not going to be a record today. Having difficulties. Like this. Can't get a hold of it. 2.5 rolls done. 1 to go. Woo. I'm out of shape. I gotta start working out. I need to start lifting weights and running like I used to. Getting close. Getting very close. Done. Whew. So there it is, a pile of wood. Down the road we go, back to the wood yard. Whew. I am back in the wood yard after my delivery, and what I would like to do is to start stacking this wood right here that's left over and continue with, you know, what I've started with the stacking of this cord that I did a couple days ago, and get this all cleaned up in here. But I have to go do another job in my other business today. So that is it for today in the wood yard. Thanks for coming along for the ride and delivering the wood, and tomorrow we'll be back. We're gonna do more wood, and we're gonna work, and we're gonna work, and we're gonna work, and stack, and cut, and all that good stuff. So I'll see you tomorrow. Thanks for being here. Please come back tomorrow, and between now and tomorrow, get out in the woods, do some cutting, and if you see Irene, tell her I said good night.